Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'd like to say thank you for stopping by and please do subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, I'd like to say thank you for sticking with me. In this video, I'm going to be taking you through how to prepare garden egg stew the Ghanaian way. So please stay tuned and I hope you enjoy this recipe. So as the name of the stew suggests, it's a garden egg stew. So definitely I'll be needing garden eggs for this stew. And here I've washed my garden eggs and I've cut them into two. Here I used about 14 garden eggs. So depending on the quantity of your stew, you can use more garden eggs or less garden eggs. Here also I have 2 tomatoes that I'm going to be using. Here I don't need a lot of tomatoes for this stew, so I only have 2 tomatoes that I'll be using. I have my scotch bonnet pepper depending on how spicy you want your food to be, and I also have my red onions. I also have here my fermented fish, which in the local dialect in Ghana here we call the momoni. I also have here bay leaves. I also have here with me my salmon. This is the Aubergine salmon. It's very delicious and it makes your food taste so nice. Also here is palm oil, which I'm going to be using. If you like, you can choose to use the vegetable oil, but I prefer to use the palm oil. For my spices, I have here my seasoned cube and I'll be using the maggi shrimp cube. I have here my curry powder, which is the Gino brand. I also have my Onga 3-in-1 mix, which contains onions, garlic, and ginger mixed together. I so much love this spice. I also have here my mixed spices, which contains also ginger, thyme, rosemary, and other spices mixed together. I also have here with me cayenne pepper, which I doubt I'll be using because of the scotch bonnet pepper that I already will be using. Here also I have my ground ginger. So these are the spices that I'll be needing. And this is what is going to make the magic. This is the earthenware pot made of clay, and there are different colors. There's the clay-like color and this is the black color. And this is what I'll be using to mash the garden eggs, tomatoes, and the scotch bonnet pepper. And then the grounded pepper and all those things together. Here is my saucepan that I'll be using. So as you can see, I'm putting in my saucepan the garden eggs that I'll be using. And here I'll be adding the scotch bonnet pepper to it, depending on the quantity, how spicy you want it. So it all depends on you. If you want your food to be more spicy, you add more scotch bonnet pepper to your taste. So I'll add water and I'll allow it to cook for about 10 minutes. So here after 10 minutes, you realize that my garden eggs and scotch bonnet pepper is boiling and it's quite soft. So here I'm adding my tomato so that it would also be soft and it will be easy for me to grind in my earthenware pot. So after that I'll just keep for about less than 5 minutes. So now my tomatoes is also soft and I'll just be draining the water and start grinding my ingredients. So here you see I've started cutting or chopping some onions together, and here I'm not going to grind the onions very smoothly. I'll just hit it a little bit because I want it to be crunchy in my food. So here I'm adding the pepper to the onions. And as you can see, it was very hot. Who also likes to do things with their fingers or their hands? I feel when I do things with my hands, I'm faster. As you can see, I went to take a spoon, but then that was not fast enough. I wish I could use I wish I could use my hand, but then it was so hot that I had to use the spoon. So after I've taken out all the scotch bonnet pepper from the saucepan, I'm going to be mashing it in my earthenware pot, and I'll be showing you how I do this. So stay tuned. So as you see, I'm grinding everything together, and I'll be grinding the scotch bonnet pepper, the pepper to be smooth, but then I'll be avoiding the onions because I don't want it to be smooth. Then after everything, I'm going to add the boiled or cooked tomato to it, and because it's cooked, it will be very easy to just grind. So you see that in a couple of seconds. So now I'm going to be adding the cooked tomatoes to it. Then I'll mash it before I add the garden eggs to the mixture. Then I mix and mash everything together. So now I'll set that aside and move on to the garden eggs. So here I'll be removing the seeds and the skin of the garden egg, and I'll add it to the mixture. Then I'll do the same thing. I'll grind it and mix everything together. But for the garden eggs, I don't want it to be smooth, so I'm just going to press it with the mashing stick. Yeah. So as you can see here, because it was very hot, I was trying to use the spoon, but then it wasn't going well. So then I had to use my hand, and it was very hot. It was very, very hot. So I managed to use my hand to remove the seeds and the skin before putting it in the earthenware bowl to grind. And it was hot. It was hot. So as you can see what I'm doing, I'm just mashing it just a little bit, not too smooth. I'm just mashing it just a little bit. When that is done, I'm going to start preparing the stew now. So I'm just cutting a little bit of the remaining half of the onion left, just to add to the oil to just give it some nice flavor and aroma. So that's what I'm doing. Then I will set my pot on fire, add my oil. Then I'm going to add the fermented fish, which is the momoni. And I bet you when you use this fish, your food will taste good. So my oil is already hot, and I'm just adding the fermented fish. And this fish is just something else. So I would allow it to fry completely. So as you can see, I'm just trying to break it down so that it will dissolve quickly in the oil. After which I'm going to add the onions and my bay leaf and any other spices. Yes, so at this point you can add your spices to the oil. Then after that I add the salmon or any fish that you want to use or meat that you want to use, you can add it at this stage. After you've added your onions, you can add your meat or your fish. In this case, I'm using the salmon, so that's what I'm going to use. The whole idea is that you want it to fry a little, not too much, but just fry a little in the oil before you add your mashed garden eggs to the oil. So here, as you can see, I'm just breaking or flaking my fish into just smaller pieces, not too small, not too big, because I'm the kind that I would like to chew some fish whilst I'm eating. So if you don't want to have any fish, you can just mash it completely so that the fish will dissolve and mix in the stew. But no, I want to see fish or something in my food and something to chew as I eat. So that's what I'm doing. So depending on what you want, you can do that. So I'll just leave it to fry a little for just like, I think, less than 1 minute. Then I come back, stir it, and I add my garden egg mixture. And it's not easy filming with the camera in one hand or the phone in one hand, and I'm trying to dish out the garden eggs into the my oil or my pot. It wasn't easy. It was kind of very difficult, but I managed. So you realize that at this stage I haven't added any spices, just the bay leaf. Yes, not even salt. So it's at this stage that I'm adding my season cube. And I said earlier I'm using the Maggi shrimp. You can use any seasoning cube that you find wherever you are. And at this stage, the salt should be the last thing to taste because the fermented fish also has a little bit of salt, so you'll want to be very careful with your salt. So that will be the last thing that you add to your food. So here I'm leaving it to just boil, not too long because everything is cooked. So just for the mixture to release its juice into the oil and to mix up. So that's why I'm leaving it to simmer a little on the fire. So I decided to pair my garden egg stew with boiled yam. You can choose to eat it with boiled rice or boiled yam or boiled potato, whatever that you want to eat it with. You can choose to eat it with it. And as you can see, I've already peeled my yam and sliced it into the size that I want, and I'm washing it. I'm going to be boiling that. Then after that, food is ready. Yummy food will be ready, and I bet you this food, my brother praised me a lot. He said the food was so delicious, despite the fact that it was so spicy, like pepper hot. It was delicious. The yam for about 20 to 30 minutes because I like my yam very soft. and my food will be ready. So at this stage, my yam is cooked and ready to be devoured. And you can see how the fork easily went through the yam. So that tells you that the yam is cooked. And I know you can cook yam, so just make sure that it's soft to your liking. So my boiled yam has been drained, and look, I added pear or avocado. Boiled yam goes well with avocado, well to me. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and I hope you try it. Thank you for watching, and please give a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe. Bye.